corn has long been an essential part of the diet to the region, and we look back to the indigenous people when corn comes in through the trade routes and ultimately makes it into the area. We have plenty of research with Cahokia Mounds, but of course all across the Ozarks. And so it's interesting to see how its use has developed over time, and this course is a good example of how we do that. So the other thing in more modern times, when we look at the settlers to the area, the corn use in our time period, the early 19th century, mid-19th century, it really started off as corn pone. Pone is a corn mush fried in lard in a cast iron, but over time it shifts, and we ultimately see that lose favor right around 1840, 1841 to be exact, because that's the point in time when baking powder was introduced commercially to the area. The chemicals that make baking powder have been around for much longer than that. You could get them in other forms, but in 1841 it's packaged, sold, and all of a sudden our corn pone becomes corn bread or a leavened corn pone, and all the variations that come off of that subsequently, including what we're serving tonight. The other thing that happens, though, is this is about the time when we start to see recipes show up in our research. Now, instead of oral tradition being used to pass along recipes, we also see written recipes, and that's because there are people trying to make money off of products like baking powder. And so just an interesting little time stamp for you to consider with the recipes. The other thing that we're doing here is sour corn. Sour corn is an old-time fermentation and preservation technique. So it's the same as sauerkraut, except here with corn. And we're doing a really old technique where we keep the corn on the cob. And that's why the corn that you're eating almost is as fresh as it was when we harvested it last summer. Preserving it this way keeps it crisp and fresh tasting, and it's a great way of enjoying summer's bounty way a year later, so 10, 11 months later. And here we like it because that flavor's really developed as well. Anyway, hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit more about corn, and if you have any questions, please do let us know.